And welcome to the Schaftlein Report. This is not Mark Schaftlein. This is Drew Allen filling in for Mark. Don't worry, Mark will be back soon. In fact, not to reveal too much, but Mark is actually he's not on vacation. He's actually conducting business related to this very show. So I am honored and pleased to be here, carrying the baton until he is back here. So let's just get off to the races here. The F-35, which is supposed to be, the most lethal, the most amazing fighter jet ever made, created, right? Well, you heard in the news, one went missing, the pilot ejected. This was in South Carolina, maybe over some swamp. And, the U.S. government asked for the American people, the South Carolinians, please help us find the debris. We can't find this. It's amazing, isn't it? It's 2023. The FBI can prosecute some 17-year-old kid who was in the Capitol building peacefully just walking around after he entered through open doors. They can find him with a GPS signal and then go and arrest him. But the F-35, it just goes missing. I want to tell you what's going on here and give you some information about this F-35, because the real scandal here is the government likely having covered up the inefficiencies of the F-35. They put all this money into the F-35, these contracts with, I guess, Lockheed Martin, I think, is the one who manufactures it. And I've got reports here. So it's not me just making up conspiracy theories. I'm going to tell you what is glaring us in the face right now. And the question I would ask you, and I'm sorry if this offends some of you, but, is the F-35 the COVID vaccine of fighter jets, right? I mean, look, this isn't to get too controversial and upset any of you, but the COVID-19 vaccine, Operation Warp Speed, it wasn't really tested. We just were convinced we desperately needed the vaccine. And, they got rid of all the red tape so they could be produced like that. And it didn't do what they said it was supposed to do, right? I mean, Joe Biden, this is objective fact, right? It's a pandemic of the unvaxxed. He lied through his teeth. They didn't even do any tests for efficacy. And they were telling us that if you got the COVID shot, you could not get COVID and you couldn't transmit COVID. And we know that's a lie. I mean, Jill Biden just got COVID recently. Joe Biden's had COVID 16 times. So it didn't work. But they continued to cover it up, and they shifted the goal. But, well, I know we told you that the COVID vaccine, you couldn't get COVID if you got it. Now that that's been proven a lie, well, it's going to help you not die. If it lessens the infection, something like that. It's just like a terrible sales tactic. So anyway, this isn't the first time an F-35 jet has crashed. This is a story from 2019. Japan confirms the F-35 fighter jet crashed. So same situation. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force confirmed, this is, like I said, 2019, Wednesday morning local time, that a missing F-35 fighter jet has crashed, pointing to debris sighted and recovered Tuesday night by ships and helicopters searching for the aircraft. Now, look, accidents happen. Helicopters go down. It goes with the territory. But this is a little bit different, because I've got a story I want to share with you here. And here's the headline. The Pentagon is battling the clock to fix serious unreported F-35 problems. Over the past several years, the U.S. Defense Department leaders have gone from citing technical problems as their biggest concern for the F-35 program to bemoaning the expense of buying and sustaining the aircraft. What you're going to learn here is that we made a decision, because we'd put so much money into the development of the F-35, that we decided to just accept the risks. And let me tell you this too, because obviously I didn't serve in the military. I'm not a combat fighter jet. Drew, what do you know about this stuff? I texted a buddy of mine who is retired pilot from the Air Force. Now he flies commercial an airliner. But anyway, he told me, I said, look, what's the deal with this? Is this a boondoggle? What's going on here? He said they were trying to make the F-35 be everything to everyone, to be able to do all these different things in one aircraft. So basically, they were trying to do something impossible here. But from this article from years ago, according to documents exclusively obtained by Defense News, the F-35 continues to be marred by flaws and glitches that, if left unfixed, could create risks to pilot safety and call into question the fighter jet's ability to accomplish key parts of its mission. A couple other pull quotes, so you get it's all coming together, right? 11 countries: Australia, Belgium, Denmark, Italy, Israel, the Netherlands, Norway, Japan, South Korea, Turkey, and the United Kingdom, right? These are the clients for this thing, have all selected the aircraft as their future fighter of choice. And 9 partner nations have contributed funds to the develop. It was too big to fail. The F-35, I'm telling you right now, it was one of these too big to fail situations. And so now it's actually more humiliating and dangerous, of course, that we put all our eggs in this basket for the F-35, and it's got serious problems. And that's the real scandal here that nobody's talking about yet. So they knew that this F-35 back then they listed 13 serious problems with it. And the F-35 program office back then, a few years ago, had no intention of correcting 2 of the problems addressed in these documents. The department opted to accept the additional risk. Now, here's what you need to know. These 4 Category 1 deficiencies, that's a threat to life, will likely not be fixed or downgraded before the full rate production decision. All told, they expected to have about 9 Category 1 deficiencies still on the books as the F-35 moves to full rate production. The 8 problems defined above, and whatever surprises occur as the jet continues operational tests. I mean, it's shocking. This is a $100 million aircraft. And I'll just give you a couple of these deficiencies. I mean, it's amazing. To me, you're flying. I mean, it's crazy. You wouldn't do this in a car or anything else, but this is what they did. So the logistics system has no way for foreign F-35 operators to keep their secret data from being sent to the United States. Spare parts don't always reflect reality. Mission cancellations happen frequently. Cabin pressure spikes causing barotrauma. In very cold conditions, the F-35 will erroneously report that one of its batteries has failed. Supersonic flight in excess of Mach 1.2 can cause structural damage and blistering to the stealth coating. After doing certain maneuvers, pilots are not always able to completely control the aircraft's pitch, roll, and yaw. I mean, imagine you get in a car and the steering wheel doesn't work. I mean, that's what they're saying was one of the deficiencies in this F-35. So it's actually not a surprise at all. I mean, it's shocking, but it's not surprising that this has taken place. Now we'll just see what information we get. All of this money spent on this F-35, and that's the real thing. We put all this money into something it's not working. Anyway, so while that's going on, don't you feel safe, folks? The Ukraine's biggest con artist, that's what I call him, Zelensky, right? They add a new Y to his name each week. Well, he has returned, actually. He was just in a hospital in the United States visiting with wounded Ukrainian soldiers. Now, why? Can someone please explain to me? I mean, last time I checked, Ukraine was a little ways away. It wasn't in the contiguous United States of America, but somehow Ukrainian soldiers are in a U.S. hospital. I didn't know. I mean, I was just shocked. Zelensky, his first stop when he came back to the U.S. is to visit with wounded Ukrainians. He came to the U.S.? Did he visit them in the Ukraine? This whole thing is just absurd to me. So the con artist comes to shake us down. Now, we just reached 33 trillion in debt, right? Milestone for America, 33 trillion in debt. And Ukraine's biggest con artist, he comes here just in time for what, right? The Republicans, they've already signaled they're going to fold. They're going to sign a continuing resolution. And Zelensky wants more money. $120 billion hasn't been enough for him. Our tanks haven't been enough for him. He has wiped out our supply of certain bullets, certain calibers that are used. We don't even have anymore, right? We gave them all to Ukraine. So now he's here to shake us down for more billions. And I got to point out something that's just hilarious to me. Hilarious to me. Do you remember the Trump quid pro quo phone call? Right? It was a perfect phone call. Donald Trump was impeached over it. And before he released the transcript, which totally exonerated him despite the continued lies from the left and the media, Adam Schiff went on the House floor, I guess it was, and he gave his own interpretation of what happened on the phone call. Compared Donald Trump to some kind of mafia guy, shaking down, Zelensky, shaking down Zelensky to look into purported Biden family corruption, right? With the whole Burisma scandal. Well, they impeached Donald Trump over that, right? Shaken down. And yet they are inviting the biggest shaker downer, if you will, Zelensky, to the U.S. again to shake us down. It's just incredible. Impeach Donald Trump over, hey, can you look into, what happened with Burisma? And he didn't even withhold any aid. He didn't even threaten to withhold aid. But anyway, my point is the story that they tried to spin and say was that Donald Trump was shaking Zelensky down. We are being shaken down like crazy. We're being shaken. And we have so many tragedies. There are so many failures of this administration, catastrophic in nature, like Hawaii recently, that we just move on from one to the next. Joe Biden still hasn't been to East Palestine. He promised to go there. Do we just forget about them? I can go back through the list of years now. You had that Border Patrol officer who was falsely basically taken off the field and given desk duty because Mayorkas knowingly lied and said that he was whipping some Haitian migrant who was illegally crossing the border. Unbelievable. And we just move on and on and on and on and on. But not me, not Drew Allen, not here on the Schaftlein report. We don't forget, ever. An elephant's brain. So anyway, the disappointing thing is it appears that even many of these House Republicans who we thought were fighters, who we thought were the future, who we thought were going to shake things up and do things differently, well, it looks like they're all in for going forward with some continuing resolution. They're not going to shut down the government. And this is so frustrating and infuriating to me because the Republicans just have a mentality, a loser's mentality. They refuse to fight. They refuse to take control of the narrative. They refuse to do anything. It's just wave the white flag of surrender before you even try. Why can't they pitch to the American people? Come up with a strategy too, but pitch to the American people that it's not them who are shutting down the government. It's the Democrats who are shutting it down because they won't act responsibly. But the Republicans fear the media. I honestly, I can't understand it. I guess I can because all of us, our instinct is to not be attacked. And obviously the media serves as a bully for the Democrat Party to whip the Republicans into shape. But it's exceedingly frustrating. And if we shut down the government, the American people would quickly realize the big lie we've been told year after year, every time they do this to us while they hold us hostage, that nothing bad happens. And I would just point out to you that the same individuals who shut down the private sector, the same people who told us that us not going to work, that told us that our staying in our homes, us losing our businesses, us losing our paychecks, that was for our own good, right? So they could shut us down and they justified it. They said it was a good thing. But when it comes to the government and them, oh no, baby, we cannot shut them down because that'll be catastrophic for us. No, it won't. No, it won't. They don't create anything. The government just sucks money out of our pockets. But us, the producers, they shut us down, no problem. They just print money, $33 trillion now in debt. Fantastic. One of the, well, I guess this is an obvious thing to point out to those in this audience who are highly intelligent. But let me preface this way. What does it mean to be an American? What does it mean anymore? Does it mean anything? Maybe to you, to me, it certainly does, but to many people, certainly Democrat, does it mean anything? To be an American today, we've got people just pouring across the border, as many as 10 million by the end of this first Biden term. They're not coming here because they love America or anything else. They're just coming here because they're told they can get freebies. It means nothing. It's being watered down more and more. And part of that is because we don't have any customs anymore. I mean, look, let me share this with you. I lived in Italy for 5 years. I used to manage retail stores for Marc Jacobs. And I lived in Milan for 2.5 years and managed a store. I opened it. And you understand what it means to be an Italian. I mean, it still exists. There's a joke in Italy that the only time they're united is when they're in the World Cup, which happens more and more rarely. So, that's not often. But nonetheless, the Italians, you go to dinner late. Little simple things I'm saying too. The focus on the family there is so important, instrumental. So there are customs that are upheld in Italy that are very important to maintaining their culture. And here we don't do any of that. And I would point you to the latest indication of that, which is the Senate, Chuck Schumer, accommodating the mentally deficient slob, Fetterman. Fetterman, who refuses to wear a suit. He just cannot bring himself to dress for the occasion. He's a U.S. senator, but he can't get out of his gym clothes. Not that the guy ever goes to the gym, but he's always in gym clothes, a hoodie. He looks like Zelensky. Actually, Zelensky is at least wearing some probably highly expensive designer fake military fatigues as he plays the part. Remember, Zelensky is an actor after all. But I just can't believe this. So you have Fetterman, one person in the Senate, who refuses, who disgraces the Senate. I mean, they do it in all sorts of ways by lying and being anti-American and so on and so forth. But superficially even, you display respect by wearing a suit. You're a U.S. senator. You're representing your state and you're representing the United States. So, yes, it's hallowed ground, we're told, right? I mean, if you walk through those doors of the Capitol to take selfies through open doors, you're put in prison for 22 years. But, Fetterman here, he can walk into the Senate chamber in a hoodie and shorts. And it's amazing. They cannot even demand that Fetterman put on a suit. It's just shocking to me. Shocking to me. No standards whatsoever. It makes no sense that they would do this. And it's a disgrace. Maybe the next thing they'll do is they will actually require everyone to dress like Fetterman, right? That would be equity. That would be the definition of equity. Sink all the ships together. And House Republicans have announced, in a bit of good news, that they're going to hold their first impeachment inquiry. So this is going to take place on Thursday. And, it's good. So next week's hearing, it's going to be the first hearing since Kevin McCarthy formalized the impeachment inquiry. This was last week that you heard about. Mark talked about it. And we're being told, though, that this hearing's not going to tread any new ground. It's going to be a review of the existing evidence. I am deeply concerned with the state of the Republican Party, their willingness and desire to actually defend this great nation. And I'm also concerned because and I know how serious the impeachment inquiry is here. In terms of what they're talking about, Joe Biden sold out his country. Joe Biden is compromised. What we know happened, based on all the evidence that has been amassed by Comer, and even in the past, Joe Biden's own mouth, he's taken money from foreign countries in exchange for policy decisions. That's the definition of treason, by the way. So it's a very, very serious thing, but I don't get the sense that the American people grasp that. I don't get the sense that the American people even care that much, that he's a traitor, that he sold out his country, that he's compromised, that he's been paid by the communist Chinese and the Romanians and the Ukrainians and so on and so on. It's shocking. They should, but they don't. You see, this impeachment inquiry, in my opinion, needs to be expanded. I have been calling for the impeachment of Joe Biden for years, well before even these revelations about corruption. The border crisis alone is reason enough to impeach Joe Biden. He has facilitated an illegal invasion of our border. And I just saw a picture today or video. Now we have Africans coming across the border. You know, we're told, oh, it's just poor South America. No, no, no. Everyone from every hellhole on this planet is coming to the United States of America. And I'm sorry if you want to kumbaya and we can't even take care of our own people. And a nation's success, which I care about because that's my daughter's success, your success, my success, American success. You know, it's to make this the greatest country on the planet. And the reason we're we're a nation of immigrants, legal immigrants, and immigrants who came here before there was welfare. We used to, quote unquote, import the A team, the A list of humanity. So yeah, you could come from anywhere on the planet, but you loved American values and you came here to assimilate and to improve this country. Now we just import the lowest skilled, many criminals, people who have no desire to really improve themselves or their communities, people who just want a freebie, people who want to come here like leeches. That's not a recipe for success. And this is going to harm us for decades and decades to come. I cannot stress to you. I mean, 10 million people, that's bigger than the population of New York City. Can you imagine? Try and imagine. Can you imagine 10 million people? More than live in Manhattan, America's most populous city? Where are these people? What are they doing for work? Who's going to pay for them? Who's going to feed them? Well, we are. The taxpayer is. Where are they going to go to school? They're going to go to your school. Do they speak English? No, they don't speak English. Is there some program in place to get them assimilated, to get them to buy into the American dream? No, there's not. There's not at all. I've never seen anything like this in my life, folks. I mean, this is one of the most dangerous periods in American history. In American history. And every American should reject what's happening. Every American should be devoted to electing people who are going to fix this and getting rid of all these people who are responsible for destroying your country. It's your country. It's our country. This is our inheritance. And they have no right to squander it. If they want to make these decisions, they should be the ones stuck in jails. But you know what? You can count yourself lucky that you're not Russell Brand. At least you're not Russell Brand today. Russell Brand, I'm sure you probably heard, well, he's the most recent, the latest celebrity victim, if you will, of, what do I want to say here? I'll choose my words carefully. Well, of the state. Let's just put it that way, the Democrat Party. Russell Brand has been demonetized on YouTube, maybe other places too right now, but YouTube, he's been demonetized. And why has he been demonetized? The real answer he's been demonetized is because he speaks the truth. The real reason he's been demonetized and targeted and attacked by a private company, by the way, in partnership with the elites, is because he uses his platform to speak against the regime. And that can't be tolerated. So Russell Brand, the justification they're giving is that he's been accused of sexual assault, rape, so on and so forth. Now, this happened years ago. This is very eerily reminiscent of E. Jean Carroll, right? E. Jean Carroll described herself as the slut who won't shut up. E. Jean Carroll is the one who brought the lawsuit against Donald Trump, claiming that he raped her in the Bergdorf Goodman department store in Manhattan, like 30 years ago. Now, she kept this a secret until 2019, just when her book was coming out. And nobody would touch the story. She had to write her own op-ed because nobody could find any evidence. Nobody believed her story. And the irony is that even in this civil case that took place, where the preponderance standard, right, the burden of proof is just 51%. So it provides for the opportunity for a jury to make an emotional decision based on a factual one. So she said he raped her, and she couldn't remember even when it happened. But yeah, he raped me. Just believe me, because it's my word. Well, this jury said, no, we don't believe you that he raped you, but we will go ahead and throw in for what was the word that they used? Battery was the word. So she brings a lawsuit saying Trump raped me, and the jury says, no, we don't believe he raped you, but maybe he beat you up a little bit. Do you understand the absurdity of this? So this is where we are now. You don't have to have proof. Russell Brand has not been found guilty. This hasn't even gone through a court. It's just some people have come forward and accused him of this. And so he's guilty until proven innocent. And in this day and age, if you're conservative or if you're not a left winger, it doesn't even matter if you're proven innocent. Like Donald Trump, who was impeached twice, but found innocent twice. Well, they still claim Trump-Russia collusion, quid pro quo, J6 insurrection. So this is what I call the 21st century Jim Crow. That's what we're talking about here, right? It used to be, and it's, of course, convenient that it's the Democrats doing it again, that, well, you know, if you were black, you didn't have rights. If you were black, you know, we were going to punish. If you're black, you couldn't drink at the water fountain, so on and so forth. That was Democrats. Now it's not necessarily that you're black. It's that you don't think like them. It's that you're a conservative or not even a conservative. Russell Brand, I don't know. He never comes out as a conservative, but he's like Dr. Naomi Wolf and so many other people who were formerly Democrats who've come out and said, hey, I'm not on board with this. I see what you are. You're tyrants. And so they found a passion. They're converts and they're effective, just like Paul, right? Saul, who became Paul. The greatest, most efficient orators and champions of freedom or any cause are those who once were part of the opposition before. So Saul used to persecute Jews. He saw the light, became a champion of Christianity. Russell Brand, Ronald Reagan, too, was a Democrat, became a Republican. You see how this works? So it's just amazing. Think about this. And you know, we think, oh, Russell Brand's rich, whatever, you know, it's not me. But all this is adding up. And this could be you next is the point. If they can do it to somebody that powerful, if you will, or influential, of course they can do it to you. They just don't care enough about you to do it yet, but they can do it to anyone they want. And this is a hit job. And this is fascism, by the way. It's a collusion between the private sector and the state. So the Democrat Party is working with YouTube in this case to get this done. Will there be an investigation into this? Will we get the text messages between those responsible for coordinating this? Will we ever get to the bottom? No. And Russell Brand hasn't even kept it a secret. He's been very open about his previous life, and he regrets it. He did an interview with Tucker Carlson about this very thing, how he's changed. He's become religious and spiritual. His career was skyrocketing when he was openly promiscuous. They didn't have a problem with it, but now all of a sudden, Russell Brand, effective communicator for freedom and against the regime, and now they're coming for him. This is how it works. This is not a free country, folks. It's not a free country. And I'll end with this story. You'll really be shocked to learn this. I was totally shocked. I had no idea. Did you know that obesity leads to heart disease? Oh, you did know that? Oh, okay. I guess it's not a surprise. Well, maybe this will be surprising to you. This is the surprising part. Praising obesity, right, has actually led to increases in heart disease deaths. It's not funny that people are dying. It's just the absurdity of what's happening in this country. Here's the headline. Body positivity is literally killing people. Science finds. Whoa, science. The left better be believing this, right? You can't question the science. So the number of heart disease deaths in the United States linked to obesity was 3 times greater in 2020 than in 1999. So it's steadily gone up. And what they're saying is that those who glorify obesity or denounce efforts to reduce it, Glenn Greenwald is saying are dangerous and have blood on their hands. But it's true. And this is what I'm talking about with standards. There's no standards in America anymore. Look, I'm not hating on you if you are obese or overweight, but obviously it's not healthy. That's not controversial, I don't think. And we know we've had an issue in this country with obesity and so on and so forth. But this idea now that we would encourage, it's the same thing. It's like encouraging transgenderism, encouraging, you know, third graders to cut off their pee-pees and their breasts and no, this is insane. We are encouraging mental illness. We're encouraging unhealthy decisions. And this is what you get. I mean, it has deadly consequences. And when it comes to, you know, a criminal shooting someone with a gun, oh my gosh, we've got to address this immediately. We've got to take away all the guns. When it came to COVID, one death is too many. One death is too many. But here we have a shocking number of deaths from heart disease and not a peep. No, it's okay. We don't care about that. You understand here? The Democrat Party is not a party of any integrity, morality. They stand for nothing but themselves. So they will change any position they have as long as it benefits them and helps them increase their power. But we're not going to tolerate it. We're not going to be silenced here. Not me, Drew Allen, not Mark Schaftlein. And we're going to be here for you, and we're going to keep going forward. So I'll close out with that. I want to thank you for being with me today. I want to thank Mark Schaftlein again for giving me the opportunity to speak to his brilliant, amazing audience who I personally love. And we will be back with you again soon. All right, this is Drew Allen, and until next time.